I'm sorry. We can't accept them. Yeah, and then it's this thing is kind of catchy. Yeah. Whenever you are ready, you feel free to start.
Okay. Are we live?
Yeah.
Are you live? What are you going to do? Oh, man. Yeah. So it's like. See, that was my only good. I thank you for that. Here, I'm sure. So, Scott. And we are going to present. H20 Live, and we're really excited to share with you. So much fun working with these guys. We're going to tell you all about hearsay.
Okay, so what is H20 Live? So, over 2 billion people in the world do not have access to clean water. And so in some of these cases, that only allow the children to go and fetch water. And in some cases, it takes miles for them to go and get water with the babies. So that takes valuable time that they should be using. So in 2007, these children were like this board, and they had this great mission to offer service learning opportunities designed to engage, educate, and inspire youth to take action to solve global water crisis by raising awareness and also fundraising. So to kind of get a little bit more grounded on H20 Live, they have this really great informational video that we're going to share with you. It happens. So let's talk a little bit more about how it works. So let's all put our educator hats on and pretend teachers right now. So we will opt into the H20 Live programming and then go to their website, and they have a bunch of water, sanitation, hygiene projects to choose from. And so you and your classroom select a project. And then H20 Live will actually come to your classroom to administer some of their lesson plans. And then you also have the opportunity to select lesson plans for different lessons for your classroom. So this ranges from art all the way to and then you also will be engaged in fundraising, and H20 Live provides some really great recommendations for fundraising, and then the kiddos can also come up with their own projects. And so at the end of the semester, when all the lesson and programming is done with fundraising, so you can go to you go to submit your funds for the semester for this project. So the impact thus far, of nearly 1 million students have learned about the global water crisis and supported these launch programs in almost 2,000 schools. And then over 1,000 water certification projects have been implemented worldwide in over 20 countries, and they have raised $4 million in funds thus far, and over 500,000 students internationally have been impacted and now have access. So who uses H2O for life? To better understand, so we through a lot of the meetings with H2O for life, we kind of honed in on the educators, the teachers are really the administrators and gatekeepers to the students and the lesson plans. And so we wanted to really understand the teachers, and none of us here are teachers or have background in education. So we built our survey around understanding their process for their lesson plans, how they build their lesson plans, how they figure out how they bring in new lesson plans, and then also really understanding what motivates them, and if they were a part of H2O for Life programming previously, what were some of the challenges that they had, also what they looked at. And so with this, and also data from H2O for Life, and created a digital profile. Most of H2O for Life's teachers are from Minnesota, so we focused. This profile is based off teachers in Minnesota, and so their ages range from 25 to 50 years. They skew largely white at 95%. They are also skew largely female at 55%. Some of the behavioral information that we found through the survey was that 60% of them use social media, and of that 60%, 100% use it to connect with their local community. And 60% of teachers add curriculum each year, so that might be ample opportunity for H2O for Life. And then only 30% of teachers have used H2O for Life for over 5 years. So again, more opportunity there. So looking at the employment status in Minnesota, 91% of teachers in Minnesota are returning staff, and only 30% are new teachers. Through our survey, we found that 80% of H2O for Life teachers have been teaching for over 10 years, so they fall into that first bucket. Their income is only $50,000 a year, which is lower than the average income for the state, which is at $70,000. So it's even to some of the challenges they're facing. There's a teacher shortage in Minnesota, and with growing class sizes, students growing at 5% year over year, whereas growth rate in teachers. So it's like teaching your classroom is a larger class each year, and then their salaries are lower than the basic cost of living, unfortunately. So this leads us into the challenges and opportunities that we have. So educators are facing challenging economic times with that lower income, and then we also have lower job skills. So 54% of educators say that having some acknowledgement or recognition would boost their mental health and well-being, and then only 20% of educators are satisfied with their jobs. So this leads to our opportunity to invest in engaging with educators with a multifaceted strategy to ensure buy-in, to create a sense of community to avoid burnout. And so we'll bring you through how we're going to do this, maybe through building community and boards of recognition. So with that, I am going to pass it on to my friend Scott here to talk about.
Okay. Anyway, so we really, before diving into the problem even deeper, we wanted to make sure that good strategies, goals that H2O has approved for. And they have some big goals, which is is really cool, because we can support them. So one of the goals being to deliver classroom presentations, which is quite a lot, and also 41% this year. We're also wanting to add more service projects, doubling from last year. We also want to make sure that technical students are completing fellowship Futurist project, the fellowship project that they have, and then investing money. So we want to make sure that we're doing it the smart way, and allocating the $10,000 programs. So it's important to understand before we dove into the problem exactly what they were working on. And then with that in mind, we had this is my opinion, we had like 1,000 ideas. We were like, oh my gosh, we can fix this, we can this. I don't know about you guys, but we were like so many different ideas. To me, I was like, dude, we need to really focus everything down. What is one of the biggest issues? And starting to look through the data and then working back, we're able to really see one of the biggest issues that H20 is facing is teacher retention. And after looking at the data, I'll show it to you, but we'll see how clear it is. Unfortunately, it's kind of like our act, but 50% of the teachers are not continuing using the program or participating in the program within 2 years. 50%, that's crazy. It's really, really a lot to think about. So right when we start to see that, we need to start to develop a program, how to help H20 keep these teachers engaged. So this blew my mind. It will blow your mind as well, but this is what we saw with the data. Very quickly, right at the beginning, it's a very sharp drop off of teacher participation within the first couple of years. Even more so, there's visualization. I'll show it to you this way. You can see on the left side, 1 year and 2 year. That half is going to be representing the participation. Smaller than we're going to do. Get the picture? I hope so. And then really important was to notice how much money is being spent on retaining and then recruitment and onboarding. So not only that H20 is putting in, we were able to work with them to kind of come up with these numbers to see how much money they're putting in that short amount of time. And literally throwing money out the window. And to onboard one new school, spending about $1,500 nonprofits, especially to try to have schools as possible. We definitely did great work. This is what so
Thanks, Scott.
So, great summary of the problem there and, what they're facing and also understanding educators and, who they are, how they're thinking, how they're behaving. It became really clear that our solution would be to get the educators that are already involved in that H20 for Life programming to utilize their lesson plans and participate in that fundraising year after year, right? That's the key, right? Keep them involved in the ecosystem. And we do that by introducing an easily implementable retention program that rewards and encourages that able participation. And that would be through incentivization, emotional connection, recognition, and community building. And all of that would reduce the costs for educator recruitment and increase the service project recommendations. So knowing all of that, we did some additional research. What must be included in these retention programs to make them successful? So after some significant research, we pulled this slide and I think it's really relevant because it kind of shows all the pieces to be included and thought about when putting this program together for H20 for Life. Well, we want to make sure it was fulfilling. So it needs to feel appropriate for the accomplishments.
Want to make sure it's authentic, so really being genuine, not just a formality, or there's so much fun. It needs to be personalized, right? So everyone is going to respond. We're speaking differently and understanding that, and making sure that it's tailored to that. We wanted it to be equitable, so everyone who's participating in the program should be able to have an opportunity to receive this. And finally, being embedded, so really making sure it's part of the values. This is H2O throughout. H2O for life as we work with these things. So with all that, we kind of put all the ingredients together to build this recipe for the retention program. And that recipe includes monetary and financial incentives, rewards, awards of recognition, and community. I'm going to dive a little bit more about the why on each of these. So first, financial incentives, we know that it's proven to be, impactful when it's, excitement, engagement, motivation. I'm sure a lot of us have these sorts of incentives. So this is a very familiar concept. We know from a lot of the information that they've shared that these educators are facing really difficult financial circumstances, and they're also facing difficult financial circumstances with cuts in funding, right? So any sort of opportunity to support them financially would be a strong incentive for program buy-in. So our tactic there would just be simple monetary gift card. We also knew that there's, being other industry insiders, there might be other ways to, incentivize these teachers without necessarily H2O like having, use funds. So we worked together to kind of create these smaller non-cash incentives through a brand contact list and period discounts, and this would allow them to provide some additional rewards. Again, without that cost issue. And then the other kind of piece of the recipe is the smaller rewards. So we know that these can be really powerful tools when they increase intrinsic motivation. And this is really impactful for professions such as educator, because they really place that high value on positive social impact. So we broke these out in two ways. First and foremost, awards and recognition. And especially when this is publicly, this is a great way for people to see the meaning of what they're doing. Become really inspired. And so that keeps them motivated. And it also increases their perception of support from the organization. So seeing, some of these tactics, program certification, some other things, allows them to feel that H2O for life is there for them. And then our final piece here is the community. So looking at the data, we know that community is really important for teachers and educators. And so we wanted to build some pieces into the retention program that would amplify trust and excitement with the program and with people participating in the program. And also be a resource for them, so they have some opportunity to reach out to peers and ask for questions. And again, I'm just going to dive into some of these in greater detail, but we made a testimonial video, a Facebook group, and more. So that's kind of the what, like what we put it all together in the what. And then we also wanted to look back at this timeline, pull in the when. So, it's clear there's 3 points of program drop off. And it's really after the first 3 years of participation. So, and the other opportunity we saw was this way back opportunity that needs to circle there. We had a great anecdote from one of the staff presentation over life. There was this teacher who really engaged, did incredible fundraising projects, but last year was just like some personal stuff had come up and just needed a break, right? But wanting to keep these educators that they've already invested in onboarding, creating the program, and keep them in that ecosystem, we wanted to develop an opportunity of the retention program to bring back these these educators, since they, you know, it's kind of win for the program to not really educate teachers. So again, we'll pass it off to dive a little bit deeper into some of those topics that we saw before the most.
So yeah, I'm gonna talk about our 7 recommendations so that people have the highest impact for the program for that first 3 years and then the win back program. So our first recommendation is to use this budget of $5,000 each for like data and allocate it to 3 different ways. So this first $3,000 that we have is to give teachers after year 1, year 2, year 3, whoever's seeing the biggest drop off, actually give them a gift card at the end of the year to really just thank them for all their hard work and show them that each book life really, you know, super thankful and you're going to want them to enjoy the program again next year. So we kind of, you know, $50 after year 1, $100 after year 2, and $150 after year 3. And then for the swim back program, it kind of depends on how long they've been a part of the program, but we allocated about $50 to $150 depending again how many years have been a part of the program. And then this is all budgeted based on the 70 teachers in the 2023-2024 school year. And so then next up, we have $1,500 set aside to actually help recruit new teachers. So while this isn't retention, we kind of work hand in hand with retention. So basically a teacher that's part of the program at the end of the school year to recommend another teacher that they know to be part of the program. If that teacher ends up signing up, that teacher will get paid out a $50 bonus. And then they are part of the program. They have a new teacher that's on board with this part of the program, so the program is growing. Be able to build a community and also take off the burden or take the burden away from issue of life on recruiting. Because that was something that they said is a key point for them and a really good financial. And then lastly, we set aside $500 for yearbooks and thank you note expenses. So I'll get into this one a little bit more, but so a little bit more on this referral program. This is kind of what it would look like, right? You get a note in the mail letting you know that $50 is what your bonus will be, and this is applicable for all teachers, and we set aside for 30 teachers to be a part of the program. And then we, like, our recommendation is to add a little line items for student version. And then our next recommendation is to send out end of the year thank you notes to all teachers that have been a part of the program, and then to include these gift cards for the teachers that were first year, second year, third year, to really just thank them for all the hard work. And then this one's super fun. So at end of the year yearbook, all teachers receive. H20 Life is currently doing certificates that all teachers get, but we thought this yearbook just, you know, is extra stuff, so kind of a collector's item. Also a great tool to show donors all the work that they're doing. And H20 Life actually already kind of has all this information, all these pictures on their blog website. So it's just, you know, a cool thing to have in your classroom. Students can also see how other kids are fundraising at different schools and to show all of the projects implemented that year. And then H20 Life currently has a Facebook page for their nonprofit, but our recommendation is to actually build a separate Facebook group for all of the teachers that are working to help the community, to help have teachers connect with each other. And then our thinking was that H20 Life employees could also bring this group and they can kind of see some of the pain points of the program and also help give recommendations. So this is a little fake Facebook group post that I made. So me, Zoe, and Scott that are the teachers, and so I'm asking, you know, hey, I'm new to the program this year. I was wondering how you guys talk about, you know, this one issue in your class. And then Zoe jumps in. She's like, you know, hey, I'm a 6th grade teacher. This is what's been working for me. And then Scott jumps in and says, you know, I'm a long-time teacher of the program, and you know, gives some good advice there. And then Ashley Mitchell, who sort of our contacts and employees at H20 Life, jumps in and says, like, hey, I'm gonna talk about these assets on our page, but like links them just in case, you know, I hadn't seen them.
And then Zoe hit on this earlier, but we put together a contact list of a lot of brands, contacts in the outdoor industry that each school would like to reach out to either get items to silent auction to help raise money in classrooms or to reward teachers with stipends. And then also working together to access codes for these teachers. Again, it's another thing to that I can work. Oh, and this is super fun. So we wanted to give some tangible deliverables that each of us like to start using small. So we put together some videos of teachers in the program, you know, just talking about why they love the program, why they're doing it, and this is like a great tool to make use on socials to share, you know, what they're doing, build community. So we actually have to do this for you guys. Let's see what the videos like that, making sure on socials and post on Facebook page to kind of describe home, the citizen communities here to support you and so a great organization to look like this. And I'll pass it to you.
Great, thanks, Emma. So that's kind of a summary of a lot of the tactics we wanted to include in that recognition program. It's really to make a truly holistic program in order to support various needs. And, you know, we've already talked about it. That's really what we're building. We then wanted to develop a roadmap for the program development. H2O for Life works with educators and teachers, so it's really easy in terms of implementation and timelines because they have a really clear schedule, right? Every school year it takes off. They engage with these teachers, they onboard them right before, they have the opportunity to use the program throughout the school year. And then at the end of the year, that's when the launch projects are completed and when those, you know, finances would be. So that would be, you know, how we sort of rely on engage with the retention program. We also kind of wanted to build this year after year, you know, how would we crescendo and like continue to support these teachers and engage with them in these kind of 3 initial years of like that high attrition risk. And so, you know, year one is definitely a smaller incentive bucket, but they still receive something and building year after year, you know, additional funds, additional access to, you know, programming, like it's a program that we recommended as a tactic. So again, it's growing that program so it's continued value for our teachers when they engage, and just keeping them involved in the program. And we again mentioned that after year 3 of the program, and the need for keeping them in or incentivizing them in, it kind of waits because they're really involved and you know, as our video showed, they're committed to causes. And then here's just another example of, how that way back in that really engagement program would, so work. Kind of making sure all those nutrients are hit, there's a small monetary component as well as some of the additional rewards that we know that the teachers haven't received being part of the program so far. So that's kind of a summary of how it would be out here. So finally, I'm gonna pass it off to Scott to summarize the, why it will all work.
Thanks, so here we really want to focus on what our goals were, on how we can really make this happen. And we knew that we needed to help with cost improvement, then also help folks get to the finish line that are participating in the program. And we want to do that in a few different ways. Really, we want to keep it simple, easy for the nonprofit to plug in. And then also helping with the companies which was their initiatives on it. So we didn't want to just Josh, but they wanted to support them. And then really the bottom line with a lot of nonprofits is really the impact to the budget. I'm sure everyone here had some sort of experience with that when working with their nonprofit, but it was really cool. I know better about how this program will impact their bottom line. Where we were able to calculate that if we kind of plug in here, we should hopefully help them save about 21 to 26K per annual tier cohort. That's a big number. Every time we do that, that's so amazing. So we did some more research into why I think this is going to work. Lots of interesting facts here. 44% of folks are switching jobs because they're not getting enough recognition. 67% so that they appreciate better rewards. Only 24% of folks are saying that some above they were getting the recognition that was memorable. 80% of folks would be willing to work harder. I just think, you boil this down to so many different ways, but at the end of the day, to me, simple thank you can go a really long way. And then we got a lot of information from the survey that we sent out to the teachers to help us work. Hearing that the teachers wanted some more recognition, also how are we to support them? It sounded like a teacher were asking for that. All the different ways that we're going to help support, we're able to hit almost any different type of teacher with this program. So what's really interesting here is we were able to actually present to H20 for the presentation here, and we had some really great feedback. First thing was that they did think that it was going to be quite easy to implement some of these ideas. Second, and I think I'm allowed to give a call out to Emma, like the yearbook idea, like blew their mind. They're like, why didn't we not think of that? And so I just love that right away. They're like, oh my gosh, these are like it sounded like they were ready to jump right into it. And then the ideas, and all the different deliverables and all the different ideas that we had in developing, we really get a hold of those and love this. And so what's really cool, just to know here at the end of that is we actually do have a presentation that they invited us to for their entire board, which is really cool. So we're really proud of that. And again, I was want to say we're really excited.
I'm so curious, like, my first initial thought was like, what did you get from your work, even if it's not data driven, just your impression? What do you think is a reason for the attrition rate, like that 50%?
I really think that activities tier, so like they would be sent out a survey, like currently 73 teachers in the program, and our limited amount of survey responses we got back is kind of the indicator of that, like the lack of yeah, just willingness to go above and beyond for impact recognition was pretty obvious from the get-go.
And let's also acknowledge that this is an incredible program, but it does require extra work, right? They're adding curriculum, if they're adding a fundraiser program, they have to engage with the students, if the students don't have buy-in, they might, this is too much work for, especially with your students. Figuring out how to work for your students. So I think having and the recognition. They say what's there for me, and we're ready to finally re-engage.
I have another question for you too. Regarding the rewards and incentives for the first 3 years, is there a plan to reevaluate that to create additional funding or plans for people that want to participate longer than 3 years so that you don't see that drop off, repeat and cycle again?
Yeah, I mean, I'd say that from the data that we saw, it was clear once they were able to the drop off pretty significant. They were independent, they were one. So that's, of course, people are going to build this out for every year, but they're limited budget, limited time frame. So just seeing the biggest drop off rates that are kind of the most crucial to me there.
It was really tough because we went through this a lot, where it's like, okay, we're gonna do 1 year, 2 year, 5 year, 10 year. And then we're like, wait, you can't spread it out that much because you have the issues to get up front. So they kept getting compressed. It seemed to be worth it to put more of the effort up front. And then there's other ways of other plugins, if you will, to keep the teachers coming back. But hopefully you're at the beginning to really get them going. It's so hard.
Thank you.
Just one last thing to add to that is that with the savings that they'll have year over year, they'll be able to, they'll have more money to reevaluate on their own and just build on the program. Yeah.
What I think about the retention curve, and it strikes me as that shape is probably similar for a lot of nonprofit organizations. So I'm curious if through your research you found like what is a benchmark to aim to, like what you right, because maybe that curve's never going to be totally straight across, but like where would you like to see that number at in 3 years? And did you find any kind of comparable words to benchmarking this?
So our kind of goal and like aspirational goal that we were targeting to was to double the current retention. So that's kind of what we build our plan off of, but then also we need to add teachers even if we're not hitting that double retention with this now referral program as well. So with this allocated budget, we can add 30 teachers to the program next year and like growing from 70 to 100, and maybe with a little bit of drop off in there, like that's still an awesome improvement. That's not an overwhelming ratio for it. That was another thing we wanted to make sure was we're not adding so many teachers or that it's overwhelming after.
Thank you.
And some of those strategic goals that were mentioned earlier, the 125 of the service program, that's what they communicated was kind of what they felt capable of doing with their current levels and their funding. And so that was where we were, that was in terms of the other data, I personally didn't find any sort of nonprofit grants, unfortunately. A lot of our retention programs, which while not one, but I think it's pretty good.
So it sounds like the teachers need a lot of support, and it seems like there's a lot of emphasis on just the teachers. And there been in conversations previously before you started this project or doing this project about going directly potentially to the the school district and implementing this and maybe the studies classes in high school, and then maybe casting a wider net to maybe foster that community within the schools with support amongst teachers versus individuals who are like, yeah, we'll do that and like you'll piecemeal it.
Yeah, we did talk to H2O for Life to really understand like who was using the program, who was the administrator of the program. And there are school things that do, but largely the teachers are the ones that are kind of like the gatekeepers of the lesson plans and the programming, and they're the ones that are having the most contact with H2O for Life. And they're the ones that are actually mentoring and looking at these. So we did consider a lot of different avenues, really, go with the kids or the students. Do we then explore like, okay, how can we work with each notes or the students that are actually the recipients of the FOSH programs. But ultimately, it seems like the teachers were the ones that really work with making it for each.
And then also, but also, strictly because almost every single model is complicated. It's not really the same across, schools of Florida, this is state. And then also just kind of going back to Jen's question of the manageable over here, making sure we're not having too much exposed to their weight. Making sure that this is the candidates go with.
I was just going to say too, one thing I thought was interesting was if you're the administrator and you're telling your teacher that you need to now start working with this program and spending extra, that's not necessarily motivating the teachers to actually be invested into the program. So unless the teacher is saying, hey, I'm going to spend X amount of time extra with my class and be a communicator and buy into the program, it's not someone above coming down and saying we'd like to do this to all of our classrooms. It's someone who's really passionate and wants to target. I think that's where the more success. So that answers the question. Thanks. What are they? Yeah.
I have a comment and a question. I when you said the 2-year retention rate, I thought that was really interesting because Subaru partners, and Subaru did not ask me to do this or anything, but they partner with a lot of join them and people pay for and it's 2 years that Coach Reese does it, so that's how they get a lot of people to join, is they want that Subaru discount. So anyways, that was an idea I had. Because you have to do it for 2 years to get the discount. And then the other thing is I wanted to know what the reasoning and the rationale or the research that went into picking that bonus amount. Was that based on the organization's funds that they had? Is that a number that you just picked to give an example, or is it like your research of what teachers like to get as big cards?
Short answer is I got super nerdy with the data. Like there's 70 teachers, there's 26 for one. I was like trying to get those to the most amount I could based off that $5,000 budget. So this would be just for grade 2024 school year, depending on the number of participants, teachers next year. That's why I just for this year. But yeah, I broke it down, trying to get the most amount in the most impactful way, but having some kind of bias to it. So it was a lot of crunch numbers.
I mean, like ideally they would receive a lot more, right? But understanding the limitations of the budget and who's involved, we wanted to, again, thinking about the retention program being equitable. Everyone who is part of that should receive, or who gets in those buckets, should receive, something. And so, yeah, $50 doesn't feel like a lot, I know, but it's $50 more than they received, and it's, and having small to show the continue to get this location for my. With this retention program, we're actually successful in retaining teachers and lowering the cost. We're happy to be able to increase those incentives.
For those teachers that are retained in same age after 2 years. Was there anything in the data or even anecdotally that, like, what was the secret sauce that got them there? Was it just pure volunteer program? Did they have the working schools that have a better system for acknowledging the work? They have very successful fundraising program. What did those people do without interviewing others?
Some of the survey data that we received, the teachers really did love the program. It really just is the H20 for Life programming is curriculum that is baked in for them. It should make their lives easier. Like if they have their lesson plan, they'll teach your class, they'll help facilitate everything for you. So it really does, the teachers that are strong loyalists see that, understand it, and really believe in educating your students on the global environment. So not only is the curriculum is teaching your students, but it's also having them be like bringing they're making an impact on the world. So I think that's probably that we found in some of the survey data from the teachers.
Just like Nick was saying, when you should see an intro to the program, like most of the teachers are based in Minnesota and like the greater Minneapolis area where the ratio of like is headquartered. So I think building this community and then also where there's multiple teachers in the same school, they were more likely to stay on board. So that's kind of why we decided again on the formal program to like have something for your same school for yourself. Okay.
Sorry, one more question. I realize it's 73 teachers. How big was your survey sample, and do you feel like it was representative of both the 1 to 3 year people?
We knew this was time.
Question. I know.
Which really drove home that in all the teachers, like years plus experience in the program. So this really drove home that teachers that are on the lower end of the tiers are engaged in the program and aren't going to kind of go above and beyond to get the time to fill out an survey.
Thank you.
What is that?
Okay, just one more question that's not totally related, but adjacent. I know you said they do in-person presentations. So is that something like, do they fly all over the country to do these, or do they have ambassadors in the different places? Or do you know?
They do Zoom.
Okay. Non-Minnesota. Okay, got it. Okay, that makes sense. I just. Okay.
Thank you.
Yes. Okay. Thank you, everyone on Zoom. Okay, so again, right now all the notes are scratched. Great. Thank you. And thank our guests for coming.